If the waiver wire in your league seems gross right now, being picked through from top to bottom for any potential upside or any potential superstars, you are not alone. But that doesn't have to be the case. There are still loads of players with value that can really help out your fantasy squads in the short and long term, just waiting to be scooped up. In this video, we're going to go over some potential waiver wire studs. We're going to go over my week 3 waiver wire ads to see how they've performed, and we're going to go over some 2-start pitchers that should be available in a majority of leagues. Thanks again for everyone tuning back in. We've just 3-peated for 1K views on these baseball videos, which is insane. You guys are legends. Make sure to check out those videos if you haven't already. You never know, some of those guys could still be floating around your league's waiver wires. And for those of you that are new here, I'm Chris, and welcome to Number 2 Sports. First up, we have Zack Gelof, the second baseman off the A's. Now, Zach may have been drafted in some leagues, but I bet he was dropped in a majority of them after he fractured his wrist during spring training. Zach had a sensational rookie season in 2023, batting .267 with 14 home runs and 14 stolen bases, showing off that coveted power-speed combo you guys are probably sick of hearing me talk about by now. His underlying stats also supported his on-field play. Even though they didn't jump out at you, they weren't that concerning. But then 2024 happened. He batted a pitiful .211 in 138 games. He still had some nice pop to his bat, but the average and the strikeouts absolutely killed you. He led the AL with 188 strikeouts last season, which is an honor you don't want to receive, which led to a 34.4 strikeout percentage. Regardless of how ridiculous that is, the upside I see is his 17 home runs and 25 swipes. What I'm hoping for is that he worked in the offseason to bring that strikeout rate down to a manageable number without sacrificing too much pop in his bat. And his last season in AAA, he batted over 300, so he has the tools to do it. It'll all depend if he can just put it together. And if he can, the A's lineup is so much more improved this year with Rooker, Soderstrom, and Butler that pitchers will actually have to start pitching them honestly. And I think he could be a difference maker at second base because that position is so weak this year, getting ravaged by injuries. If you have an open IL spot, no harm throwing him on there right now and see if he made improvements in the offseason. Next up, we legit may have the fastest man in baseball, the speed demon himself, Chandler Simpson, the center fielder off the Tampa Bay Rays. Chandler's been having great at-bats every game he's started. He's collected a hit in each one so far. His approach is kind of unorthodox. He's like a stereotypical slap hitter that you just don't see in today's MLB anymore. It's pretty much extinct. But man, does this guy have wheels. He stole 93 bases in 2023 and then had an MILB leading 104 in 2024. All without hitting a single ball over the fence. Not one. So the question is, will this speedster's slap hitting style work in the majors? The Rays believe it and are counting on it, so why shouldn't we? His ability to beat out so many infield hits, or definitely high choppers to short or third, that most MLB players are just going to jog out of the box, he is not. He's going to zip down that first baseline 100 miles per hour, trying to pick up any hit that he can. He batted .355 in the minors and struck out only 8% of the time. If he can just get on base at a respectable clip, he legit has the possibility to lead the league in steals, and that can't be overlooked from a fantasy perspective. It's a big if, but if you're hurting on the swipes department, he's worth taking a fleer on. I love anomalies. I'm rooting for this kid. He's fun to watch. Let's hope it works out for him. Next up, we have Agustin Ramirez, the undrafted 24-year-old from the Dominican Republic playing catcher for the Miami Marlins. He started his MLB career on a high note, going 7 for 14 with 1 home run, 3 RBIs, and 1 steal. He's recorded multiple hits in 3 of his 4 games that he started this year, including a 3-hit game in his second career appearance. One of those hits, though, he got jammed up a little bit and just got enough of it to float it into shallow center over the shortstop's head, but the other 2 hits were absolute piss missiles down the third baseline, showing off that raw power that he has in his swing. He batted .254 in AAA this year with 5 home runs and 3 steals, striking out 24% of the time, which is okay. We definitely need to temper expectations though. It's only been 4 games, but if we have a player with catcher eligibility that's going to get us 10 plus steals and not absolutely destroy us in the average department like most catchers do, that's fantasy gold. Add him now and see if this promising start continues. Next up, we got Reese's Pieces, Mr. Olson, the starting pitcher for the Detroit Tigers. Now, Reese has turned in 2 stellar outings in a row, not allowing a single earned run in either of them, while striking out 12 in 12 and a third innings, lowering his season-long ERA to 3.29 in the process. He's been so good lately, getting himself into pitcher counts, getting ahead of the batter, and locating his fastball, which has allowed him to throw his changeup a lot more, and he's getting so many more whiffs on it. Add in his slider and sinker, and it's allowing him to keep hitters off balance a lot more in his recent outings. The 3 keys for him to have continued success will be to keep getting ahead in counts, keep locating his fastball, and then keep getting all these punch out with that nasty changeup. It has so much vertical movement to it, it absolutely just dies off and tails off just as it's crossing the plate. If he can do those 3 things, I think he can be very fantasy relevant the rest of the season. He's still only 26 years old, and I think there's loads of breakout potential worth chasing here. So this one will most likely come back to bite me in the ass, but I don't know. I had him in his heydays when he was so good, so maybe I'm just clinging on to that hope that there's still some of that pitcher still alive in there. But we got Lucas Giolito, starting pitcher off the Boston Red Sox. I also like to highlight guys that are available in like a majority of the leagues, so maybe that was a little extra incentive of bringing him up, but we'll see. Like I had said, from 2019 to 2021, he was regularly receiving Cy Young votes. He had a sub-3 ERA, over a strikeout per inning. He was dominant. And then the wheels started to fall off a little bit in 2022 with the White Sox, and then he had an absolute terrible 6-game stretch for the Angels that saw his ERA jump to almost 7. His other 6-game stretch with Cleveland in 2023 as well was also terrible. An over 7 ERA. At this point, you're probably wondering why I'm recommending him, and I get it. But he signed a big deal with Boston. He never got to pitch there because he had elbow surgery, elbow issues, and maybe in 2023 he was battling some injuries as well. I know he came out and said that he just couldn't locate his pitches, so he was absolutely getting hammered by hitters. So I'm hoping that maybe he's figured that out. And I just honestly think he has something to prove. He signed a big contract to produce in Boston. It's a big market. He used to be a stellar pitcher. I'm thinking there's still some of that competitive drive left. And I'm just willing to take a risk for free. Like, I'm not dropping anyone of value for him, but I want to see if he can put it together in a few starts and maybe get back to somewhat of a useful fantasy pitcher. And like I said, he's available everywhere. I'm definitely ready to take a big L for this guy though, so I'll be practicing my shotguns all week in preparation. Not actually though. Okay guys, it's recap time. And again, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on these guys. We're just going to quickly go over how they did. I posted that video on April 12th, so 2 weeks ago. So let's dive right in and see how they've done. See if I have a punishment at the end. See if I got a shotgun. We'll see what's up. So first up, we have Jacob Wilson, the guy who just refuses to strike out. He still only has 5 strikeouts on the entire season and only 1 walk. It's actually ridiculous. He's still not stealing any bases. He only has 1 swipe on the season, and you'd like to see more production other than hits. He did homer tonight on Friday, but besides that, he hasn't really been getting many runs or many RBIs. So he definitely has some flaws in his fantasy game, but I think overall he's been a great pick, and I think he's a starter on most teams for the rest of the year. The second guy up we had was Ben Rice, Benny Boy, and he's been great. He's went 10 for 37 with 3 home runs and 7 RBI, and he just looks like a mainstay in that Yankees potent lineup, and I think he could be an absolute stud the rest of the year. All his underlying metrics are still off the charts. His StatCast page is bleeding red. It's actually ridiculous to look at, so there's no worries there. Keep putting him into your lineups. Keep starting him every day. He's going to be a stud. Congrats if you grabbed him. Okay, so this one was yikes, you could say. Zac Veen, he went 2 for 22 with 1 home run and 1 swipe. And his home run was hit in his last game before the Colorado Rockies actually sent him back down to AAA. So this was a massive L, massive L. So that's my bad. You know, he's a top prospect. He has good minor league stats. He plays in a great home ballpark. I thought his swing and his tools were going to translate well into the majors. It obviously didn't happen in this stint. I think he's definitely getting another shot later on this year if someone goes down with an injury. So he is someone to keep an eye on, but as you can see, the floor is absolutely 0. But on the other hand, Noelvi Marte has been a monster. I think I recommended him as a deep league ad when he's only 4% owned, and that roster percentage is going to skyrocket after his last couple of weeks. He had 1 game with 5 hits, 1 home run, 7 RBI. He's had multiple multi-hit games, another homer as well. Add in the couple steals that he had too, and the power speed combo is on full display. Now, I definitely don't think he's going to be this good the rest of the year, which would obviously be crazy. But like I said prior, I think he's more like the 2023 version that we saw rather than the 2024. He's still a young kid. Hopefully he's figuring it out. go grab him if he's still available and see if this hot streak continues. So Dylan Moore, I definitely recommend it as more of a short-term injury replacement, especially for second base, but he's trying his best right now to make himself into a long-term hold because he's absolutely smashing the baseball. He's hit 4 home runs, 7 RBI, and 3 steals, which is incredible, and his roster rate has skyrocketed, which reflects that. He's scorching at the plate right now, and his underlying stuff looks pretty good, so I wouldn't go dropping him on this hot streak. I don't think it's fully sustainable. Obviously, though, he's never been this good in any of the previous years that he's played, but it's someone they got to keep on your roster while he's swinging this hot bat and just see where it goes. So next up, we have Max Meyer, and this guy is being dominant. He's just coming off a career-best 14 strikeout game with 24 swings and misses, with 16 of them coming off his signature slider. It's his 4th quality start in a row to go along with a sub-2 ERA, and he's striking out everyone that he sees. It looks like this former top prospect is finally putting everything together, and I think this is going to be a huge breakout campaign for him. This guy needs to be rostered everywhere, so congrats if you scooped him up. I think you got an ace on your hands. Not much to talk about Zebby Matthews. He was definitely recommended as a stash. He hasn't been called up yet. Hopefully it's going to be soon, so let's go to the next guy. Same sort of thing with Ben Joyce. I'd released the video, then he went directly on the IL. Someone to watch for whenever he comes back. He's a guy who chucks gas, 100 miles an hour plus on his fastball. So again, keep your eye out for him, see when he comes back healthy. And last up, we had Jose Alvarado. He pitched 6 1/3 innings with 5 Ks, a 2.84 ERA, and he had 4 saves. It's obviously nothing to write home about. You'd like his ERA to be a bit lower. He had a blow-up game in there, which kind of inflated it. But the 4 saves are nice. And again, he plays on Philly. They're going to win a lot of games. He's going to get a lot of save opportunities. I still think he's going to be one of the better RP pitchers you can have on your fantasy squad. Wilson was good. Rice was good. Veen, terrible. Marte, good. Dylan Moore, good. Max Meyer, awesome. Zebby Matthews, Ben Joyce, undecided. And Jose Alvarado, good. No punishment. All right, it's time to dive into some 2-start pitchers for this coming up week. If I recommended Reese Olson as a waiver wire pickup this week, I got to recommend him in the 2-start segment, right? He's got 2 starts this week, one against Houston, one against LA, that neither really scare me at all. Start him with confidence, hopefully rack up some Ks, hopefully get some quality starts, and hopefully get some good peripherals from him this week. So no surprise here, I'm usually always going to recommend somebody if they got to start against the White Sox. So we got Ronald Blanco with his first start coming against Detroit, and then the second start coming against Chicago. Frankly, he's been pretty terrible up until his last start, so definitely tread lightly here. But let's hope that he builds some momentum from that start against Toronto, carries that into Detroit, and then carries it into the lowly White Sox to end off the week. And last up, we have JP Sears from the Athletics. Now, his 2 starts are both on the road, so we're not playing in that park in Sacramento where the ball just seems to be flying out of lately. And he's actually been pretty decent this year. Nothing crazy, but he hasn't let in more than 3 runs in any of his starts. He's banged home a few quality starts. He doesn't strike out a lot of guys, so that kind of sucks. But hopefully he's going to get you a quality start, maybe some Ks, and anything below like a sub-3 ERA would be perfect. Now let's hope these guys can start off better than the guys that I recommended last week. Bido and Soriano got absolutely rocked. They were terrible. Miguel was awesome. He had 10 strikeouts in a scoreless outing. Let's hope that Bido and Soriano can salvage the week at least a little bit with quality outings this weekend. Before we go here, we got to give props to where they're due to my cat Ellie and my dog Sadie for being absolute troopers, sitting through listening to me ramble all night long. Thanks again for everyone tuning back in. You guys are awesome. Take it easy, and I'll see you next week.